Hello, hello all. Welcome to my channel. Um, I mean, honestly, it's this is just getting out of hand. You have a lot of investigative reporting going on, and now um, the George Santos saga still comes on. I mean, I didn't get a chance to hit it up. I know because the news broke quite a few days ago, like 4 days ago or something like that. I'm just getting to it now, unfortunately, because of the fact I've been busy and out of town and such. But I mean, come on. Honestly, this is like I mean, it's just becoming comical. Now it's just becoming comical. I mean, I don't know what to say or what to do about it. Honestly, it's the fact that he actually has to lie about this. Well, the real question is like, what idiot actually believed it? That's the real question. I mean, honestly, that that's like next level. Uh, I mean, it seems like Santos see a Santos might be a pathological liar. It seems, to be quite honest, more than anything else. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I have no idea what else to say. I mean, like he's either that or a con man. To be quite honest, it's hard to say at this point. Um, I'm not sure exactly how to go about this though. That's the real question because, like, I mean, this is a guy that basically um, is, you know, I mean, it's one thing to basically be lying maybe one or two things, fibbing on one or two things, but I mean, honestly, to like lie about this, and full well that could have been looked up. But the problem is like for those that were donating, he told the donor that he was like he was this. The real question is like did that donor call him out on it, or did the donor actually put money into it? Because like this, finding out this information about like whether if someone was part of the production company or producer for or even a donor to the most biggest debacle of a play out there was newsworthy at that point, to be quite honest. And now it's a case of like, well, first off, it's dumb on the donor, firstly, to the point where like the donor themselves, if they don't know, then something's on them at that point. But the other factor is like, is Santos an actual? Is he an actual pathological liar? It seems like he is, or is he a con man? That's another possibility too. I don't know. But the real question is this is like, what next? What next? I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't know what to say. Honestly, don't know what to say. To be quite honest with you, this is like it's just this. I mean, I didn't think this was gonna. This is just becoming too comical now at this point. Way too comical. To be quite honest, because it's like another aspect is like, well, it's comical to the point where like what it is with his resume and such. I mean, honestly, he's got to do something. He should just step down because like I mean the question is like I don't even know what Mike McCarthy's thinking at this point. I mean now you got this going on right now basically like he's accused of sexual harassment in his Capitol office. Now the question is like is this actually accurate? I don't know because one of the things is basically this is a guy that basically I it's seems like it's a disgruntled staffer. So the question is, or potential staffer, disgruntled potential staffer. This is a staffer that basically came in, was taking selfies and posting on social media within the office, basically, because like you could see right now that Santos has a very bare bones skeleton crew in his staff. No one really wants to come close to him, except for one of the patrons or one of the producers for oh, I forgot his name now. What's his name? I honestly give me a second. Let me take a look. But in any case, yeah, like this is a case where like he's got pretty much no one. Everyone's either left at this point, or I honestly don't know. Um, I think his name is Vic something. I'm sorry. I can't find the guy's name here. I know it was here because I remember looking it up at one point or another. One second. I'm sorry. Uh, In any case, the one that's filing sexual harassment is basically a former staffer. Basically, it's to the point where um, he was a potential staffer, not a former staffer. I shouldn't say former. It was a potential staffer. He wasn't fully hired. They were doing due diligence, and the thing is, you can actually see him while he was in Santos's office. He was posting social media stuff. He supposedly recorded some information as well too. It looks like this kid was basically trying to get famous. His claim to fame basically with this, and like he's just basically using this more for like publicity more than anything else to like go against Santos. That's one thing I think is happening right now. I honestly don't know. We'll find out as this all goes on, but that's what it looks like. It seems like this kid is basically just trying to get a claim to fame. His 15 minutes of fame, to be quite honest, more than anything else. And he's probably trying to get some money out of it as well too. It looks like. Uh, so again, that's my opinion. My opinion on. I don't know. There are no facts about this. I didn't do any fact checking on this part. It's just a matter of like what it seems like. That's what it seems. But the reality is like you got Santos with the new lie of basically, essentially saying that he was a producer for one of the producers for Spider-Man. In the Dark, which makes no sense. It's funny how they tweeted out like all the things they've been associated to. They can happily say that they do not want to be associated to him with about this, and they're happy that this is actually false. But this sexual harassment part, it's hard to say, as far as if this is true or not. Like I said, it seems like this is a disgruntled potential staffer who was fired because one, he was posting stuff and you could see that he was posting stuff. That one I'm pretty sure because I remember seeing it in the news somewhere where basically they saw him like taking a picture with him, and I can't remember the guy's name, the staffer's name. Basically, I honestly don't not remember his name. Um, he used to be part of. Geez, like I'm googling for staff, and like it's all showing like his form, his fictional staff. Um, wow. Okay. There's nothing about this. Why can't they give us his staff members? I mean, it's not that hard to find out, but why is it when you look for when you Google his name? I mean, this is probably the media at this point as well, too. To be quite honest, honestly, this is a bunch of uh, baloney in this situation. Charles Lovett, but it wasn't Charles Lovett. It's the PR guy that also was working with ah Vish Burra. That was the other one. Like you saw a picture of him and Vish Burra. Charles Lovett is his chief of staff, of course, and then there's Nasa Woomer, who's CD basically communications director. But Vish Burra, um, he was kind of a guy to Steve Bannon, basically, for Steve Bannon, kind of a PR guy for Steve Bannon, or some kind of like producer or something like that for one of Steve Bannon's many podcasts or such. But in any case, there was a picture of this potential staffer taking a picture of him and Vic Burra, basically, sorry, not Vic Burra, Vish Burra, while he was on the phone, basically. And so, and apparently they did catch this potential staffer also recording him, have some recordings of Santos. Now, the question is like, what this is, I don't know. Now, this kid basically was fired, or was like not fired, but like was not accepted, or just removed, and whatever it may be. But in this situation, he just decides like, oh, you know what, he sexually harassed me. He's got to have some proof in this situation. This is now the burden is on him to prove it, basically, because unfortunately for Santos, with all the lies that he has, it's all going to add up to this, and like it's a kind of a case where they might not believe him in this situation, the boy cry wolf type of thing. Then they're probably not going to believe him. They're probably going to believe the kid, basically, because the kid's realizing Santos has lied so much that if he just goes in, if Santos tells the truth in this situation, they don't have to believe him because they just have to believe the kid. And so that's the unfortunate part for Santos. If this is a case where this kid basically is saying that Santos groped him, which is possible. I don't know, but I don't think he'd be that stupid. I don't think Santos would be that stupid enough to do that. And so the problem is like, how do you believe him though? Um, People probably see it off, but the real question is like, I don't know what McCarthy does. Honestly, the fact that McCarthy was willing to like nominate him to a couple of committees, it's really surprising, and to the point of like Sanchez himself like, what, I'm going to step away from it, like step down because I don't want the distraction for the committees. That was most likely McCarthy basically telling him like, you better step down, basically, to the point of like versus McCarthy having to do that. But in reality, McCarthy should have done it, and it's on them now. It's honestly, I mean, I think you're gonna leave. He's gonna lose a lot more of his fellow colleagues' respect. This is George Santos. He's gonna lose in in the Republican Party, and like they're probably gonna ask him. Eventually, eventually there's gonna be something that's gonna come up that's gonna be very detrimental. That the entire Party is gonna have no choice but to denounce him. Um, I mean, if they don't, it's a different story. Now the question is what's he gonna do? Santos probably goes like, oh, it's an anti-gay thing basically, or anti whatever it may be. Hopefully it's not, but you know what? If I'm Santos, honestly, this probably I have this weird feeling that this is everything that we're finding is there, but there's probably one big story. There's one huge story out there about him, basically, and it's probably going to come to light or shed to light. And the fact is like the Republican parties or like those that did their due diligence on him, they're probably trying to like suppress that information as much as they possibly can. But it's going to be found out eventually. Put it that way, it's going to be found out eventually. So I'm not sure what to say. But with that, I'll leave it at that. There's not much else for me to say. This is something that's kind of turning into a running joke. I knew it was going to be fodder for the late night talk shows as well as SNL, which they did, of course. But with that, there's not much else. I mean, like, it's probably going to be a little bit more to it. I mean, you had the Trump as one part. Now it's just Santos. I think everyone's focused on Santos. The sad part is for me is he happens to be a he happens to be my representative. Sadly, I didn't vote for him, but he has still is my representative, and there's not much I can do about it. And unfortunately, there's no such thing as a recall vote. So in New York, so I don't know what to say. But with it, hopefully, something comes out good out of it. And like I mean, people in my district are probably now realizing like, okay, well, you know what? Honestly, the people in my district probably will think, you know what, like forget the Republicans. This probably damaged the Republican shot now at this point because everyone on that aspect is like, even if there's like a legitimate Republican, they're probably just gonna go Democrat. I mean, you had Ackerman and the other guy prior to that, so like they're probably just gonna go the Democrat in 2026. Honestly, so I know there's not gonna be a special runoff. So Santos better do something. I mean, to like rectify this in some form or manner where he can like turn it around. It's possible for him. He can turn it around. I mean, even though he lied to get in and like all it keeps turning into a running joke, but he can still salvage this. He can salvage this if he can actually come up with something to help benefit not only his constituents but the state of New York as well as the country. Um, let's see what happens. Honestly, I was angry, but now it's more of a case where like now it's just like for me, I think the whole underdog aspect came into my it's just kicking in now. The underdog part is like okay, now you know what, maybe you can turn this around. We'll see. But quite honestly, if I was his advisor, uh, I would tell him to step down. I mean honestly, there's not much you can do at this point. I mean, you could try to rectify it, you could try to turn it around, but if there's more stuff that's in your closet, it's best to step down now before it comes out. If you know there's something in your closet, step down and just step down before it comes out because it's gonna come out eventually. No matter what you do at this point. I mean, unless you do something that's dramatically heroic, which is gonna be hard to do. I think you're gonna have a problem. So I would step down, to be quite honest. But let's see what happens. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Um, so yeah, let me know your thoughts about this. I guess what do you think? Should Santos resign? Should Santos step down, or should he stay in and try to fight it out? Do you think there's more to it? Do you think there's one big scandal with him? That one big scandal story that might just take him down, or two? Do you think he can redeem himself? It's a question I don't know. We'll see. But with that, leave your comments. Like I said, I read all my comments. I try to respond to them to the best of my ability when I do get notified. And also, please subscribe if you can. The more subscribers, the better. I mean, like I said, I'm doing this a little late because the fact is like I would have loved to have live streamed it actually where I was at when I found out about Santos, but I couldn't. It kind of sucks. So, if I could get 1,000 subscribers, I should be able to live stream from my device. From my phone, that is. Sorry, from my phone. I didn't bring my laptop at the time. I just had my phone, so it would be great to live stream from my phone. And from there, like I said, I'll do if a million subscribers. I'll do a dancing trend at that point or whatever. A lot of people are doing whatever it is. I'm not gonna do anything that's crazy, but yeah, it'd be great to get a million subscribers just for the little plaque. Basically, I'd love to get that plaque with it. But anyways, with it, I'll leave it at that. I want to say unfiltered, but in reality, there was like a little side thing at that point as well too, and it wasn't edited at least. So I could definitely say unedited and unrehearsed for sure. You could see that was definitely unrehearsed. You could see me sort of distracted, looking at stuff because I was trying to look up Santos's staff. It was weird. Also, I could say this is like it was very very weird that when I did a Google a Bing search, not a Google search. I did a Bing search and I searched for George Santos's current staff, and the top results, surprisingly enough, are all about his fictional staff. I'm like, seriously? I mean, like, I just wanted to know his current staff. It took me a while to find it. Actually, I'm like, what's going on? I should have probably done a Google search or something like that, or I should have just gone to his website or something like that, or not his website, like the U.S. government website for that district to find out like whose staff were actual staff were. We know it's a skeleton crew basically. So with it, um, I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, please subscribe. Until next time, unfiltered, unedited. Well, at least unedited and unrehearsed. Until next time.